I think there are 2-3 recommendations that actually come from here, and one of them really is the need for more collaborations to happen on ground between good teachers and teachers who would like to learn from these good teachers. I think there is more, there's need to have more such interfaces, although there are teacher training institutions in every state, and with the ISRO's virtual resource centers, there is a regular system that is put in place where you have master teachers who are available on video, and sometimes it's a one-way video, two-way audio link, where rural school teachers can raise questions to these master teachers, and you might want to explore that, that kind of collaboration for math, because they tackle a whole lot of subjects there. So math could be one area where you could probably bring value. The other thing that comes up is that this domain requires a lot more pedagogical support. You need to have more teachers who know how to teach well to become part of this network, and you might want to specifically look at other institutions that are already mapping these good teachers to source them as your mentors. So those are my 2 recommendations that I thought you might want to look at. Can I now ask Wave to make its presentation, and please introduce yourselves. 10 minutes and 15 minutes of discussions.
This program, I'm going to show you a short video to begin with, and then we can continue.
Collective voice for positive change. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Libul Nisa.
Hi, I'm Yati Bomjan.
Hi, I'm Roni. I'm a nurse and midwife.
I'm engaged in a youth employment and empowerment project.
An advocate of information and communication technology.
We aim to empower young women to blog about what's important to their communities, to suggest solutions to local problems, and use the Wave platform to partner with others to affect change. Each young woman was recommended by an NGO she's affiliated with, and then selected from amongst a pool of qualified applicants to receive free video training, camera equipment, and monthly stipends for participating in the 9-month project.
We organized a 2-week training workshop in a collaborative way with almost a dozen experts facilitating practical exercises on everything from visualizing stories to creative techniques such as animation.
A big moment for me was when we all gathered together in one room for the first time, realizing that there was one person from every state of India. Such diversity, different religions, languages, cultural backgrounds, and yet there was no barrier.
The girls returned to their home states with their camera equipment, and the videos started pouring in.
We mentor them through the process of scripting to battling with the technology of sending us their video files over the internet.
We've also authored a video production toolkit geared towards Indian NGOs and grassroots video makers, which can be downloaded from our website in English and soon in Hindi too. We aim to inform viewers in India and around the world about the unique struggles and successes of diverse Indian communities, as well as to inspire our audience to contribute resources towards the problems highlighted or to replicate the successful models that are featured on the Wave site.
In the future, we would like to adopt a sustainable social entrepreneurship model with a pan-Indian women's video network providing services to NGOs and news organizations.
So we're in the learning category because we're a mentorship program, but as you can see, we're kind of a community media model online that is gender specific. We're only a year old. We've just finished our pilot program, and we have 170 videos from all over the country on our website at waveindia.org. You can go to the next page. So, why Wave? Um, some of the things that we've discovered, it's just a short presentation. I'll just share some of the things we learned in best practices. One thing that the girls reported back to us after a year is that a tremendous confidence increase, because they were routinely making videos and putting it online and getting feedback from around the world. So tremendous sense that they can pursue this as a career and that it is appreciated, etc. So that was one thing. The other is that we selected through national competition. We got about 150 applications, out of which we selected 30 bright candidates who were volunteering or working with NGOs, to encourage them to pursue and have a better understanding of community development and get into leadership roles. So by featuring what's going on the ground from women's perspectives from all over the country, people get a better understanding of where they are, and it's also a very good peer networking thing that we found for the young women. Being part of such a network has really empowered them to do more. Can you go back to that? It uses citizen journalism principles. So the reason we chose video blogging, just to explain, which is basically blogging on video, is if you know about blogging, it's coming from you. So it's different from journalism, where you report what other people think. Citizen journalism is what you think. And so we're encouraging the girls to research and then articulate, form their own opinions about what's going on and suggest solutions through the means of video on the internet, where people can access it. And let's see. Yeah, a lot of insight we found, like a window into remote areas. There's a lot of people, young people in urban areas that feel very jaded or disappointed with the way the development of the country may be going, and they don't quite understand that there are a lot of projects like ours, innovative ICT projects that are going on, that are boldly and broadly molding things in different ways. And so this is it's also a little bit of a experiment to feature these programs. So there's NGOs from all over the country that we selected to feature on our site associated with these women. And then, of course, we chose new media because, as we all know, it engages youth in more ways than This was a pilot, so it was restricted to 30 minutes. You can go to the next. So what did they learn? We taught them some of the things were complex video file conversions, because one thing to understand is that making videos for the web is different from making videos for, there's time considerations because of internet speeds, there's format considerations because the larger the file, the slower it'll be to watch, etc. And so we sort of explained these aspects and facilitated them getting these videos out, because a lot of NGOs are overworked and the staff don't quite have the capacity to document their work and put it online so that people are seeing. So by nominating a girl to our project, we were able to give them these one-a-month responsibilities, and then we would help them through the process. We would always be on call for them to ask us, oh, I'm having this technical problem, which we found to be quite important. Uploading large files through Usended, etc., social networking, editing, sound recording, Google Transliterate. Now, because we were working all over the country, language, of course, was a consideration. So, our site is bilingual, which I'll show you later, English and Hindi, and we use Transliterate versus Translate. We found to be a huge help to our work. So we were able to type in English and it would grammatically be correct in Hindi and in other languages.
Next, please. Okay, so we had a 2-week residency program, as the video showed, in Goa, and then 9-month distance mentorship through phone, email, etc. And these are the things that we've learned, that remote training across the country is possible through online email and materials, although it's not always easy. There is of course that disconnect with working with people remotely, but since we all met up front and lived together for 2 weeks, and there was a very special bond created amongst the group, there was a sense of commitment to the project. Anyone can download our free video blogging toolkit, which basically teaches you very simply how to jump in and make videos and put them online, and that was created for NGOs. I'll show you that later. We found that mentoring is crucial. So when you're teaching technical things, it's, as probably many of you know, you can't just teach it in the beginning and then leave, because only through doing it do people come across various problems. And so we were always on call through email and phone, so and everyone encountered all kinds of different problems, and so they would report to us and we would tell them how to solve it. And then a very important point is that we paid per video. So we wanted to encourage these women to see this as a feasible career option, to continue with it. And if their we felt that if they were just participating in this without any future career opportunities, their families would not really encourage them and justify them spending time in learning these skills. So some of the challenges were a lot of variation in the ICT background. Some women didn't have email addresses before this, for example, had never used any social networking, didn't really. So we had from no video background, no email, etc., all the way up to people who had done video workshops, or print journalists, for example, who understood the principles of telling a story or reporting something, but had not gone into video. So we had all over. And motivation is difficult to keep up. It's something we'll be working on. So these are some of the women. Vinita lives in a shelter for women in Mysore. Jyotsna lives in Ahmedabad and in a slum and teaches in a Gandhian school. Munster is an organic farming activist in Chandigarh. Lisa teaches children in Bihar, and Chinju works in ICT in Trivandrum. Next. And these are some of the stories. For example, that boat lady in Lucknow, or Padma, who started a weaving collective in Assam. Or Manjula, who started a parlor in Mysore. So a lot of very unusual kind of stories and perspectives started coming out because we did this. And another point was to bring out stories from from remote places in India, because we found that there's not too much online. If you go to YouTube and you search for Mizoram students, for example, or something as you all know, the Northeast is undercovered on the internet. So that was another purpose of this. Next. Okay, so one of the people who applied was a transgender rights activist from Chennai, and although our program was meant for biological women, when we got the application, it was so strong, we said yes, this is a community that also needs a lot of help, and so she was part of our program, and we're really glad because she's now started her own mini version of the program with the Ravani community in Chennai. So they've been making films and showing them in Chennai, etc. Social restrictions women face when they have their menstrual cycle across all religions. That was one video that was made. Lack of toilets for women, and people getting killed when going to the bathroom, etc. Female feticide. Next. Okay, so looking ahead, training videos have huge potentials, and The main reason is that you can make a video and it can go across all languages. So even if we were to make a video about how do you make videos, it's very easy to show a finger pressing a button, and you don't need to translate that into in different languages. But even if you had to, dubbing and this kind of thing is not really that difficult. So I think training videos would be great to have more people make that for education. And of course, we're looking for continued funding. We want to open up our site so that any young woman can upload gender-sensitive content to our website. And we're going to transition from a non-profit model into a social business model, because we've realized that alternative approaches like ours is very difficult to fund. That's the truth. And we've recently made contact with South Asian journalists all over, and they're interested in expanding this across South Asia, so that'll be exciting. Next. So these are some of the awards that we won. The Ladli award, which is just going on now, film festivals, etc. A lot of positive feedback, but not funding quite. No. Okay. So these are our suggestions. Encourage technical training, skills for girls, such as photography, internet use at a higher level. We chose to work with women who were college graduates because we felt that, okay, we educate people up to grade 12, but then after that what? How do you, skills training, and using new media and looking at development from a progressive approach is what we were looking at. And one-on-one mentoring rather than authoritarian approach is better. And boost confidence by giving awards. Now this is something that we did that we found was very effective. If you just acknowledge from amongst a group who is better at doing something than others, even if you're not giving a monetary award or whatever, it's got huge motivational appeal. So that's it. If you can just pull up the website quickly, I'll just show that. So it's waveindia.org. Bringing up the website was just to show you how it's bilingual and where you can download the free video training materials that you can use. And also to show you some of the videos. Normally it comes up very quickly. www.development. Yeah, maybe you've got that wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
Connection's down. Okay, well,
two critical things, and that is, even when you're looking at complex technology, you really don't have to spend too much time in teaching if it's imparting skills. So you don't have to be an electrical engineer to know how to fix a bulb. I mean, just somewhat similar to that. So when we are focusing on empowerment as an objective and using ICTs or new media, then there are processes and ways that you have discovered that could actually get replicated for other objectives, not just as a gender-sensitive tool or empowering tool. So that's one takeaway, that when we look at skill development programs, we must look at how we can make it easy to learn. I think that bridging that gap is a very critical component. And you talked about the difficulty in keeping up the motivation. I think this is a problem that many projects confront. There is an initial high, there is an enthusiasm that gets created with information flow, and after some time it is effort to keep it going, and then there is frustration. Then it's like you give it up, because many can't hold on just on enthusiasm. So it's very important to look at sustainability of innovative ideas, and I don't know, but I think innovative ideas must be nurtured. You must be able to make something generic out of it, which could be applicable beyond your space. That would be a useful way to look at what you have developed. I'd like to open the floor for discussion, and then I'll let Kuntia ji to make his remarks. Are there any questions or comments?
Next week for the Delhi government. This is an excellent program, especially for skill development. And the way I look at it in terms of the government adopting it is to really be able to really kind of look at the vocational training, have this as an additional program in the skill development program. I've already kind of talked to the women's cell at the DGIT and also had this thing that I've showcased it to them, that this is how it can be done, and I was intending to interact with you to really kind of look at. But there is a lot of scalability and a business model that needs to be developed around it, which is where probably a little more I would like to know as to what is your plans on that.
Well, we have a few ideas. The primary one is that we've not seen a production house or a media house that really, there are some, but really focuses on making videos for the grassroots sector. And so since we have trained women in equipment across the country, we think that that is a USP that small organizations will want to hire us, because we specialize in profiling organizations and putting that information online and distributing it. So that's one. The other is that we think that the trend of citizen journalism or basically news videos is going to grow, and a lot of news websites don't have the capabilities of reaching the kind of expanse that we've sort of managed, and we can contribute. The other is that women's perspectives. I mean, there is a market for that through our own website. I don't know if you've heard of the Women's Feature Service, but that's a print service based out of Delhi that's been operating for 20 plus years. That's fantastic. So if we can do what they're doing in video, because I've talked to them and they're not quite going the video way. So that's another. And so we're exploring these models. Since we started out with the generous grant, we first just focused on establishing ourselves and executing what we said we would execute. And so that took us quite some time to do. And we've just finished that process and registered and put an advisory board together. So now we're going into our next phase of looking at how we can get social business investment. So.
Okay. Just to share with you, there are at least 3 more projects that I am aware of, and I have probably subsequently I can. There is one in the rural area called Appan.
They're one of our partners. Appan Samachar.
Appan Samachar.
In Bihar.
Appan Samachar is there, and there is another woman group which is working very positively from Nepal, who's actually having a very similar concept, and they've been very successful also. The other third one is more focused on the travel-related videos, GOB. So you might like to really look at their models. They have excellent models in place in terms of, and they can kind of add a lot of value in terms of, GeoBeat especially has a very good model in terms of looking at travel photography, because travel photography and travel related videos are something which everybody is ready to pay for, especially the destinations. And that's something that what's happening is what is really needed, and for the rural tourism, that's something that can really add a lot of value. So you might like to explore.
Yeah, because just to add to that point, I mean, you'll see that a lot of people who are interested in video and this industry move to Bombay. They move to the cities because that's where the work is. And so we wanted to basically find ways of funding people who are interested in this work in the semi-urban areas and later in rural areas.
Teachers, so that we can share those videos through Ganat Gurus. Now, how expensive would that be for us to ask you to do that?
Less than anyone else.
I don't even know what anyone else charges for that.
It would be very inexpensive. We've got cameras lying with, and the model that we were following for editing is that some of the women edited or learned how to edit through the program, or did on their own, partnered with editors there, etc. Others, generally, we didn't want to focus on editing because that's the most technical and disillusioning part of video making. So we didn't want to push that up front. So basically, they send us clips, and we oversee the production of it, and it's
so how long would this process take? I mean, you're present in all the states, and you've also made inroads into the rural areas. So from each state, 1 or 2 videos from rural classrooms?
Takes about 2 weeks turnaround for one video of 3, and we try to stick to 3 minutes because that seems to be the magic amount of time online that keeps people's attention and also gets a good point across. And then you can do episodes, of course, if it's a math class.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am from Calcutta and in the audiovisual world for so many years. Very impressed by your presence, and I think it is a very good appreciative venture on the part of the women. I have 2 things. One is an offer, and that is for the last 7 years with the state government, I have been running a short film festival in Calcutta from 2004, and this is always held in the 2nd week of December in Calcutta and at Nandan, that is the cultural center of Calcutta, and the first multiplex in Asia. So if there are success stories, which not just reporting, because that is for us, they are still not movies in the sense of that which has got a good story, just that. And it doesn't matter whether it is musical or talk or any kind, it shouldn't be beyond 45 minutes. Anything that is below 45 minutes, it is accepted and it is screened, and 7 days we run this show, usually about 30 hours of a film screening. So if there are something good, you are most welcome to enter into the, it is not a competitive one, but we have always a house full. So that's one. And the other part is to say that I guess you are doing a lot of training in that part, as you already said. EMRC, you must know that this is under UGC's University Grant Commissions of Project. There are 17 in the country. We have one under St. Xavier's College, and I am coming from there too. A new e-learning method, not let me say the visual content. This is what we are offering is video editing course online. Anybody from the world, anywhere in the world can access. It is an online thing. I think it costs 1,000 rupees or something. You can just have a check up the thing. And we already have, I think, some 800 students. Maybe more coming. This is just an experiment. And of course, twice a week, we have the master teacher coming in the class. And of course, there is a two-way interactions and everything possible. And I think people like you should be really making use of that, because it's not like any other course, is not too expensive. And really people who know the subject are the ones teaching. So I think that is a simple suggestion, possibly something can work out. And FCP.
Okay.
Are there any more questions? Yes, Manthan.
If of course we can reach many more people if we were to go in mobile phones, because the internet penetration in India is only 5%, so I've heard. So that would be great, but we would need a lot of support from a telecommunications company to introduce this, and there's a lot of benefits, of course. I mean, you get regional videos, and it's very easy to format. The quality, of course, you would have to create the videos accordingly, but but very localized information and very low cost, etc. So it would be great to go that route, and that's in our future plans if funding and support comes our way.